see that? Hope so. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys going back and muting yourself so you can, just in case there's any phone calls or any interruptions. All right. My name is Raul Lopez Jr. I am the founder of Tag Talks. A few of you here, I think I have spoken to before, so you know what Tag Talks is. But TAG stands for Transparency, Acceptance, and Growth. And it's a speaking forum I founded many years ago, back in 2017, after doing a few different types of events and just kind of looking and seeing what is it that I do? What is it that I'm helping people with? Who are we? What is the core of me? And I learned that I'm being transparent in who I am. I've accepted the things I've lived through. Life happened to me. I mean, for me, not to me. And that sharing personal story helps people grow, helps me grow every time I share my story, and helps other people grow at the same time. So I'm going to jump right in here and just tell you a little bit more about myself. I am a speaker, an author, and a coach. I've spoken all over the place, globally, virtually. I put on my own events and I put you on stages. I speak at other people's events. I do some corporate stuff. I've been hired on for contracts, couple-year contracts for like MLM companies to be their spokesperson. Lots of fun stuff speaking around the world. There's a couple more things of me speaking. That venue you see at the bottom, I've been there a couple of times. I'm planning early January, maybe with the first quarter of next year, to do a mega event at that venue. It's in Las Vegas. It's a beautiful place. But just more speaking different places, like you can see up here in the left-hand corner. I was for some corporate stuff. I do a lot of different things, speaking. And it all started from sharing my personal story. That's what I want you guys to know. It all started from just sharing my personal story many years ago with kids in juvenile hall. And I'm going to tell you my whole story in bullet point, but it all started many years ago, sharing my story in juvenile hall, not even understanding that author, speaker, and coaching was an industry, never planning to have a speaking forum, never planning to write books, none of the stuff that I do now. All right, let's see. We do, there's some more pictures, just different stages that we're on. I even do events at yachts. We do yacht events. We do trainings. We do a lot of fun, different things. It's so fun. Okay, let's go back. We do events all over the place, all over the United States. I do a lot in California. I'm in Northern California, born and raised, currently in Southern California, Orange County. We're doing some stuff coming up in Newport Beach in July. So we're having lots of fun, bringing out lots of speakers. And what we're gonna do today is just some basic training. I got like 5 steps of basics of what it takes to get out there speaking, putting your story together, and how to get paid to speak, learning how to get paid to speak. Everybody wants to get paid to speak, right? I hope so. All right. So here's some of my books. My core 2 books. I actually have a couple here with me. You probably can't see them because I'm sharing, but those are my core 2 books that you're looking at right there. Heal the Boy and the Man Will Appear. The first one is subtitled Learn the Importance of Understanding and Expressing Your Emotions. The second one is subtitled Transforming Childhood Trauma with God and Psychology. And these 2 books were launched about 7-8 years apart, just because I left so much out of the original book about God. I was told when I wrote my first book not to write too much about God in it because the secular world may not buy it. Biggest mistake I ever made. It took God to change my life, right? I always say that understanding with God as the foundation, understanding the science of the mind and body will change your life, because there is a combination. That's why transforming childhood trauma with God and psychology, because there is a science to our brain, there's a science to our body. We're, biology, what we eat matters, exercising, all that type of thing matters, and how we feel, how we act, and the things that we do. But those are my 2 core books. And then I have a book series. It's called Success Leaves Clues. All of these are available on Amazon. So what I do is I study, and some of these guys are my mentors. I study them and I put together these books, and it's all quoted based on this stuff that they teach. The one with Tony Robbins is Unleash the Power, Tony Robbins' top 10 techniques. Then I have the Business Accelerator, Gary V, top 10 techniques to grow your business. Everybody knows Gary V and Tony Robbins, I hope, here. If you don't look them up, you need to know who they are. They change people's lives on a daily basis. A couple more of our books. I have a Tag Talks book series. So not only do I put on the people on stage, but depending on the level that people come in and speak at our events, I take their 20-minute talks and I transcribe them, edit them one time from a talk to a chapter, and then we put them in books. So a lot of people who are not authors, speakers, or coaches and want to be, or they're just speakers and haven't had a book yet and they want to title themselves as an author, I transcribe their talks. I put them into our Tag Talks book series, and we try to launch 1 to 2 of these per year. The latest one is the one on the left that we just published that one. That's why it's called Transcribed. It's all everybody's talks. What else do I got here? Oh, this is one of my other books, The Speaker's Blueprint. I have a copy of it right here. This is a great book. It has everything you need to know to unlock lucrative speaking gigs. It goes through sharing your story. I think it talks a little bit about TEDx, how to format that. And then it talks about putting your personal story together. So there's a few of the books that I've written. Oh, again, we travel all over the place. We see what you'll see here is our clients come and they also showcase their books at our events. So when we do our events, clients come in, they put their banners up, they showcase their books. If they have an offer, they can have set up their offers on their booths there. What I do not do is at our events, we do not have a pitch fest, right? So people get up and they share a personal story, who they are, and why they do what they do today, and why they're passionate about what they're serving people with. They don't sell from stage, but then they do ask people to come and visit them at their booth. So if they don't have a book, they're able to talk to them a little more about what they do, who they are, and that whole thing. Every one of our clients that comes out and speaks, they're getting clients from our events because people are coming out and just really enjoying what we do. I've been doing this since 2017. I think I mentioned that, and it's just grown and grown and grown from there. In just a minute, I'm going to bullet point my story because it takes probably an hour and a half every time I share my story. But I do want you guys to understand where all of this came from. It didn't just come from nowhere. Like I had mentioned, I didn't plan to be an author, a speaker, and a coach. This is just some of the fun that we have. We do events everywhere, right? Over here up in the left-hand corner, I was actually, I don't know if I was in Cabo or if I was in Cancun there, but I did an entire webinar, a Your Story Sells virtual event from my patio in Cancun. One of these other ones on this patio, I'm in San Diego. We do events there. We do yacht events, like I mentioned. So we have virtual, we'll dive in person, we do masterminds. We have a lot of fun stuff, just traveling around, enjoying life, and sharing personal stories, helping people change their life. That's the core of it, right? I always tell people your wisdom is not common knowledge. All the good, the bad, and the ugly that you've survived in your life is wisdom for the world, and you need to get out there and share it. A lot of people don't realize that their story, how powerful it is, and that other people need to hear it. I always say, somebody else is in the fire that you've survived, and your wisdom is like the water to pour on their fire and help them get through what they're doing and what they're living through. So a little bit about us. I've done a lot of fun stuff. I bring out celebrities to our events, and I speak at other people's events that are higher levels. I bring in these celebrities to help our clients build credibility. I've been on stages with this person. I've been on stages with that person. They get pictures and videos and the whole things. So most of you, I think, probably know Tom Bilyeu, Tim Story. Coach Bird is doing really well right now. He's growing. I just was on the TV show. We just recorded, it hasn't even launched yet, with David Meltzer's Office Hours. We just did a TV show there with him. Also, he has offices at the SoFi Stadium. I'm working with him right now. He's doing some stuff with Tag and speaking at our events and just really helping me grow. He's one of my mentors. I always have coaches. I always say coaches should have coaches. Right now, I'm working with David as one of my coaches. We're doing a lot of fun stuff together. Who else do I have? Oh, the backstage at the Shark Tank. Here's the two Shark Tank guys, Robert Herjavec and Kevin Harrington. Man, it was exciting to be at the Shark Tank. I didn't get on the Shark Tank and I didn't get to pitch, but I got to be backstage, and they just treat you like a king, queen, and you just have a wonderful time. It's so fun to watch them, shut people down and give people money and all the fun stuff they do on the Shark Tank. It was really exciting. I got the opportunity to go hang out there. Then Kevin Harrington, I actually brought him out to speak at one of my events. I bring a lot of different types of celebrities to come out and speak. There we go, Patty Stanger. If you don't know who Patty Stanger is, I think she's the relationship famous. She had a show or something on TV, and she does a lot of really cool stuff in Hollywood. I was brought out to speak at an event in Newport Beach. I do a lot of my events there too, but I got to come and go speak at an event where she was at. Dan Fleshman does a lot of really cool stuff. He's partnered with David Meltzer also, so I get to hang out with these guys and just have a lot of fun. Meet a lot of really great people and have a lot of fun. And I want to say this because I've learned this over the last few years. A lot of people get intimidated being around people who do very well in life. And that's our own stuff if we feel that way. But what I'm learning in these circles is the majority of highly successful people, the vast majority of highly successful people want to help you. They want to help you. They want to see you success, right? There's so much, sometimes we get bombarded with negativity and you shouldn't do that and that won't work and that's stupid and all these things. And all those things I just said, I've heard over the years, but when you get around the right people, they want to help you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help the world. I'm here to help people share their message, get it seen, get on videos, get professional pictures, build up your websites, everything you need to do to get seen, get found, and help people change their lives. On my core website, tagtalks.org, what it says on the top is I help people, and that's the whole goal. But what I have learned hanging out with these cool people is that everybody is looking out there to serve and help. So anybody you're hanging around just telling you no, find a new circle. Anybody who's out there telling you you can't do that, find a new circle. Okay, that's just some short advice. These are just some images that I snapped off of our Tag Talks Instagram. Our Tag Talks Instagram is tagtalks.live. And by the way, we're doing live interviews on there almost on a daily basis from 12 p.m. PST to about 1 p.m. PST. I'm not there today because I'm here on this webinar with you wonderful people. But I just want to show you these pictures because this is all the marketing that we do for our clients. You can see everybody's on stage. We take professional pictures of them. We create graphics for them and market them as speakers at our events. We put them on our landing pages. We do virtual events. We market them there. Oh, you can see Forbes Riley over here on the left. I forgot to put her up there with these other pictures. Forbes comes and speaks at our events. A lot of great people that we meet and grow, and we market everybody on all of our social media. We put them in our emails, and we have a lot of fun just getting people seen and getting people found. All right, what else do we got? Oh, there's my boy. I love to show him pictures of my son. my son, this is his personalities. If you look at him, he loved dinosaurs growing up. So when we took him out on this safari, he just really enjoyed. He got to touch the rhinos and stuff. He was just wow. He was just like he couldn't believe that he was there and touching them. He felt like he was touching dinosaurs. But what you can see here, the reason I popped these up is you can see his personalities. I mean, this kid is just amazing. He's a little bit older now. The bottom corner there is my wonderful mother. I love her to death. She's about this tall. I'm not a tall guy. My mother's about this tall, strong woman, raised three incredible children who had good, bad times in their lives. And I'll tell you a little bit more about my story in just a minute. But incredible woman. I love her to death. She's part of my story. And man, I get teary. I just think about how much I love my mother. On the bottom side over here on the right, one of those is my son, and the one closest to Chuck E. Cheese there, and the other two are actually my grandsons. I have seven grandkids. Seven grandkids. I'll tell you about that too because I started very young. This is my daughter on top and her family. They just enjoy life. They travel all over the place. They have sand trips and these dune buggies and trailers, and they have all this crazy stuff. They go skiing all the time with their kids. Those are two of my grandbabies right there. So they're so wonderful. And then at the bottom is my oldest son. And those are two of my grandsons right there also, and his wife, my beautiful daughter-in-law. Just beautiful kids out there living life, having fun. In fact, that bottom picture right there, we're at the Disney resort in Hawaii on Oahu. And we're blessed to be able to bring all of our kids and all of our family and grandkids and everybody out. And we hung out there for a week and we just had a really great time. But I'm so proud of my kids. They're amazing. I always tell my kids, my sons, and I have three sons and a daughter. I always tell them I'm so proud of you as your parents. As parenting, most of what you know you didn't learn from me, you learned not to do from me. And I'm going to tell you a little more about that in just a minute. All right. Okay. This is where it all started for me. As I was sharing my story right now, I was telling you about some hard times that I had growing up, wild and crazy. It took me being here in San Quentin prison many, many years ago to decide to change my life. But let me tell you what led into this part-time of my life. A few of you are on here. I think you've probably heard this story, but again, everything that I do is around sharing a personal story. And I started sharing my story back in juvenile hall many, many years ago. And it's just grown into this company, into this business. But I want to tell you how I ended up here. And I'm going to do this as short as possible because I have a lot of training for you. Don't forget, we're going to go through a bunch of 5 steps of training. And at the end, I want to offer you guys something. Is that okay? I want to offer you guys something. I want to show you a little something that I'm doing for people that I just put together because there's so many people that can't join us for our bigger programs. I mean, we have programs that lead all the way up to $30,000. And so many people can't even do, that. I mean, well, that's a lot of money. Can't do that, but even of our smaller program. So I put something together really to help people get seen and get found because it's important for me to get your message out there. But how did I end up here? How did I end up at San Quentin prison at the age of 22 years old? Bullet point. It all started young. I'm going to go all the way back to my birth because most people that get into a challenging life, I've learned, had some form of a childhood trauma, whether they know it or not, right? So born 1970. I'm just giving you guys my age. I was born in 1970 in San Jose, California, which is now Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley does not have a piece of land left. It's houses everywhere, and all the apples and all the companies are there. But when I was growing up, it was farmland. Back in the 70s, it was farmland. Cherries, apricots, cotton was out there at some point. There's just a ton of farmland that was a wonderful place to grow up. My father had just got back from Vietnam, and he got together with my mother, who had just got out of a marriage. My father brought one child. My mother brought 2 children, and then together they had me. So we had this wonderful life on farms until the age of 7 years old. At the age of 7 years old, I'm outside playing. I'm actually playing in the garage with my father. And my mother comes home and she says, son, jump in the car. We're going to go for a ride. So I noticed without even thinking about it, I was 7 years old this time, but looking back, I noticed uh, two of my siblings, her kids, were in the car, and my father and my sibling, my daughter, my sisters from my father stayed home. Didn't think nothing of it. She said, say bye to your dad. Was playing in the garage with them, got in the car. In San Jose, both sides of my family lived within a 5 mile radius. And going back just real briefly, the way our family uh, ended up in Santa Clara County, San Jose area, is cross the border. Grandparents crossed the border into Del Rio, Texas, and then followed crops. And because there were so many orchards and things in the San Jose Bay Area, that's how they ended up there working in the fields. And then they just planted there, and all of our family grew up and lived there. So all of our family was right in that area. So it wasn't a big deal to jump in the car with my mom and go for a ride. However, this time was a little bit different. We got onto a plane and we flew to Alaska, me, my mother, and two of my siblings. We flew to Alaska. It was exciting to be on a plane. Snow, I got off the plane, snow, just everything was excitement in my mind. I'm 7 years old. This is so fun, having a great time. We go to this little apartment, we go to sleep, and we get up. And I look at my mother and I look up at her and I say, Mom, where's my daddy? Very close to my father. Okay. I need you to understand the relationship to my dad is I say earth to the sun, right? If there's no sun, the earth doesn't survive. That was the relationship that I had with my father. Everywhere he went, I was there every day, all day. We were together all the time. And I looked up at her and I said, Mom, where's my daddy? And she looked back down at me and she said, son, don't worry about your dad. You're not going to see him again. And it broke me. It literally broke me. I didn't understand all the emotions that were going through my body, my 7-year-old body. And that's why the first book that I showed you the release was Learn the Importance of Understanding and Expressing Your Emotions, because emotions are energy. Emotions, energy in motion. And it's very simple to be joyful and express an emotion, the energy. Yay, my team scored. Yay, I'm having fun. Yay, my son scored a goal. Whatever it is, it's really easy to celebrate the energy of joy. But for some reason, when we have anger, confusion, when things happen to us in a negative state, most of the time we carry them, we hold on to them, right? And we've all met people that are quick to anger, but this is why, because they've held it in for so long. What happens when you compress any type of energy? Boom, it'll explode, right? And that was me from the age of 7, not understanding even the concept that I wasn't going to see my father again just literally broke my heart. There was depression, there was anxiety, there was sadness, there was confusion, there was fear. There was all of these things that went through this little 7-year-old boy's body. And I didn't understand how to express my emotions. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I felt the way that I felt. And I started to act out and do weird things. So I didn't know why I acted the way that I acted, felt the way that I felt, or did the things that I did. All I know is that I shut down. I wouldn't study in school. I would sit there in my chair. They would send me to counselors. The teacher would say something's wrong with this boy. I was just literally broken. And I lived in a fog for many, many years. So ended up coming back to San Jose, Bay Area, and I got to see my father. And when I got to see him, I thought everything was going to go back to normal. I did notice when we got back, the home we lived in, my room, my toys, everything that we had was just gone. To this day, I don't know what happened to it. In fact, I think I need to ask my mother about that. But everything we had was just gone. And we ended up at my grandmother's house. And then I got to go see my father. And I met him at my other grandmother's house. And he came in and I grabbed him and I hugged him. And we both cried. And it was just so exciting. He hung out for a couple of hours and he said, okay, I'm going to go now. And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he says, I got to go. I don't live here. And he left. And from that time on, I very rarely saw him. And I learned, and I'll tell you in just a minute, I learned why my mother left him the way that she did. She did her best to protect us as kids because of the lifestyle he was living. But as a 7-year-old kid, I had no idea. All I knew is my father was a wonderful man. So by the age of 9, I started doing drugs. At the age of 13, I had my first child. And then between 14 and 16, I was made a ward of the court. I was taken from my mother. They actually titled me a menace to society. They have to title these kids something to be able to take them from their parents and take possession of them. So they made me, they titled me in court a menace to society. They said my mother could not control me, and they put me into the system. They made me ward of the court. So from there, I was in and out of some facility for the next 10 years, between that age of 14 all the way until 24, being in San Quentin prison. During those years, I was either on the streets, or in some type of facility, getting into a lot of trouble, doing a lot of dumb things, acting weird, doing things that today I would think is weird. And then just feeling like something was wrong, always feeling like something was wrong. Um, During these years, I'll tell you this, I used to have flash visions that I didn't know at the time were God. And I would see things throughout my life, and I would have these experiences, and I would see these flashes. But I don't know if you've ever had an experience like this. They would be a flash of a second, but it was like I'd see it for a couple of minutes. I could actually see something happening. And I'll tell you about one in just a little bit. But being in the system, going to prison, uh, being lost, living literally in a fog. When I got to San Quentin and saw all the crazy stuff that was happening there, even though I'd been in that lifestyle for the last 10 years and knew so many people, and it was almost just my life, right? At that time it was, and I see a lot of men and women to this day. I still know people from 25, 30 years ago that I was incarcerated, that they're still incarcerated, or they're still living that type of a lifestyle because they just haven't figured out how to come out. Talking about God, I believe the visions that I had came from him, 100% of him, God, creator. And God said, there's more to life than this. So I asked that question to myself. I said a statement to myself. I said, there has to be more to life than the way I'm living. There has to be more than this. I'm looking around, I'm seeing these young and old in prison, and they're just living this life. And, they think they're cool in their lifestyle and all this kind of stuff. And I thought that way too when I was there, because I'd been conditioned into that subculture, I call it. But there was just something telling me there's more, there's more, there's more. So when I paroled from San Quentin, I had to parole back. If anybody knows about the system, you have to parole out of whatever prison you're in back to the county where you committed your crimes from, and you got to be on parole there for at least 3 years, and you can't leave the county, and there's all these rules checking in and guidelines and things like that. But I knew, and this is before I ever studied self-development, right? How many people here know that you are the 5 people that you hang around the most, right? In all aspects, money, mentality, jobs, everything that we do, we are the 5 people that we hang around the most. I didn't understand that. I didn't study self-development back then, but something told me if I don't move from this town and get out of my neighborhood, I'm going to end up right back where I've been, because that's been the pattern for the last 10 years. So I went to my parole officer and I said, hey, I gotta go, man. I gotta get out of here. I gotta move. And he goes, you can't move. He said, you're on parole. He said, you got to stay in this county for 3 years. And I said, well, my mother moved, and she had moved to this little town called Cloverdale. Well, actually Hillsburg, I think first. No, Cloverdale. She moved to this little town called Cloverdale, way up in Northern California. And she had bought this big property, and she had a little side unit on her property. And she said, you could come and live up here. She said, you got your own unit and everything. So I went and I told the parole officer, listen, I have an opportunity to go live here. And he said, all I can do for you is set you up with an interview with the parole office up there, and you have to ask them, and they'll decide if you can come to their county or not and take on your parole. So I said, okay, I'll do it. Went to the county, had this meeting with this parole officer. At the time, I thought he was a complete jerk, but at that time, I was like, I didn't like authority. You're a cop, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And I thought he was a jerk, but he actually changed my life, and I wish I could find him. I search for him all the time. I've had people try to search for him for me. I wanted to thank him, because what he did is he's talked to me, he interviewed me, he was being real rude and stern. But then he said, I'll tell you what, you could move into my county if you go to college. By this time, I'm 25. I hadn't even graduated from high school, but I just looked at him and I said, college. And I didn't know what an A degree was. I didn't know what a bachelor's degree was. I didn't know what a master's degree was. I didn't know any of the processes. I didn't know anything about school. I didn't know what administration was, right? And he said, you got to go to college. And I just looked at him. I said, okay. And he goes, no, you don't understand. You need to bring me a piece of paper that you're in college, and I'll let you move into my county. So I said, okay, well, where's there a college around here? And he said, Santa Rosa Junior College is right here down the road. Go over there. So I went there, and I'm looking at this school, and I'm talking to people. I'm going, what do? I need to take a class here. And they said, well, you got to go to administration. Like, what is that? And they go, that's where you got to go to sign up for a class. And they showed me the building. So I went to administration, walked in there. I said, I need to take a class here. And they was like, well, it's not that easy. And I said, okay, well, what do I got to do? And they said, you need to take an assessment to see what level of school you're at. And I said, okay. So I took the assessment. I don't know. It didn't take that long to get back. I think it took a day or something to get back. It might have even gave it to me that same day, because this all happened really quickly. And they came back and they looked at me, and I sat down with the counselor, and he didn't laugh, but he had this weird look on his face, and he said, "You're not ready for college." And I said, what do you mean?" He's like, "You're not, did you graduate from high school?" And I said, "No." He's like, I'm sorry, you're not ready for college." And I said, "I need to go to school here. What do I need to, what do I do? I need to go to school here. I help me here." And they said, "Well, we have this little unit on the side of the school, and you can sign up and get your GED or high school equivalency or something like that." And I said, "If I do that and go to school in this little trailer, will it say I go to school here?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, sign me up." So I signed up, went, showed the parole officer. He said, "Okay, you can move to my county." So I moved there, ended up in going to college for about 4.5 years. 2 of those years, it took me actually to get my high school equivalency. That's how far lost and behind I was. And then in short, I discovered psychology. Psychology 101 changed my entire life. It changed my life because it answered 3 questions that I'd always asked myself. Why do I do what I do? Why do I act the way that I act? And why do I feel the way that I feel? Literally in Psychology 101, it says, and I'm paraphrasing, if this happened to you as a child, you may act like this. If this happened to you as a child, you may feel like this, and so on and so forth. It literally answered the questions. And I said, you know what? 2 things. One, there are answers to these questions, and I'm really happy. And I dived into psychology. I went off track of general education and studied every type of psychology and neuroscience all the way to Stanford, anything that I could to understand my mind and my body. But the second thing that came to me was, if it's in this book, I'm not the only one who feels like this. If it's in this book that everybody in college has to read, I'm not the only one who feels like this or have been through these challenges. Maybe not everybody ended up in prison, but everybody, a lot of people, most people must feel these things and have had challenges. And that's why they feel, act, and do the way that they do. So that completely changed my life. I'm trying to do this short, but it's really difficult because I do want to get into training. I know you guys are here for some training, so I want to get into the training. But that's where I started, right? I had this incredible experience. And actually, my video, I played it in the email that I sent you. I hope you guys watched it. If you didn't, go back to that email, watch it, because you'll hear the story and the miraculous experience I had with God that really changed me. And then God told me to go in and start sharing my story in juvenile hall and with kids and things like that. And that's, again, how I mentioned earlier, why I do what I do today. So all of this incredible stuff that you've seen, that I'm just having so much fun. I have this company, I have this business, I'm speaking all over the place. I've written 8 books. I'm helping people all over the world transform their life with transparency, psychology, with just understanding business, and just continuing to help other people get their message out there. Like I had said, all started from right here. Okay. Based on that little bit of my story I just told you, I hope you'll go back and watch the video. But that's why I do what I do. And that's why I inspire other people to do what I do. I teach people to do exactly what I do, including a webinar just like this, including a training just like this. Okay. So let's get into the training. I tried to do my story short. I wanted to be done by 12:20. I'm a little bit behind here, but that's okay. Let's get into the training. Okay. How do we get paid to speak? What do we need to do? How do we get our story, our message out there? Okay. Master storytelling, mastering your storytelling. Okay. I've just told you a story. Okay. And a lot of what we're going to talk about here, you could see in kind of the way I've talked, the emotions I've done, the tones of the voice up and down, lots of different things that I'm doing are practiced and understood and are a way to keep, especially from a stage, right? Where you could just see me in a little corner right now, but especially from a stage, you need to be able to keep interactive with your audience, right? Storytelling is a crucial element of engaging in public speaking. It involves crafting and delivering a compelling narrative that resonates with the audience. The reason I teach your personal story for anything, I use my personal story when I do corporate gigs. Okay. I know how to enter and ask if I can share my personal story, because a lot of times corporates don't get that part of it, but I use my personal story in everything that I do. And the reason I do is because every audience that you get in front of can resonate with you coming through some form of a challenge and then being who you are today. So effective storytelling makes your message memorable, emotionally impactful. Okay. I know there are corporate gigs where I've been asked not to tell my story, and that I have anyways. And then at the end, they go, "I'm so glad you did that." because it's important. And so be aware that if you are getting speaking gigs, you get asked to speak somewhere and they're asking you not to talk about certain things, for the most part, the guideline you should follow, especially if they're paying you. But there is a way to do it. And I always tell them I am a storyteller. This all started from telling my story. All right. To master storytelling, develop a clear structure, beginning, middle, and end. I think we all know that. It's fairly common. I always tell people to start with a punch, right? Start with something that's going to catch their attention. That's the term that I use. I have one client who I helped put his talk together, and he had attempted suicide. And his whole story is about what happened to him, how it took him into a place of attempting suicide, and then he survived, and now he has a passion to help people, right? And the way he started his talk is he got up on stage, he said his name, and he said, I was on the second story of my house. I put a rope around my neck and I jumped off. And immediately that catches attention. Everybody looked at him and went, oh my God, what? And they wanted to hear the rest of his talk, right? Again, Tag Talk, transparency, acceptance, growth is about overcoming challenges. So a lot of our stories are very impactful and emotional, and there are people sharing their life. And sometimes for the first time, a lot of our people like him shared, that was the first time he's ever shared a story to anybody. Well, I mean, I think individually, maybe family members or something, but in front of an audience and with people that he didn't know. So it was very impactful. Use your personal anecdotes and relatable examples, okay? So if you're sharing your personal story, I get to a point in mind sometimes where I say I made a decision. I made a decision to change, right? And when I say I made a decision to change, I'll give examples of what I did to change, right? I talked a little bit about going to school, picking up books, going to church, reading the Bible, those types of things. I always give examples of what took me to the next level. Build suspense and create emotional connections, right? The emotional connections a lot of times are just you really being authentic, about you really being transparent in who you are, because it doesn't matter how long ago you've experienced what you've experienced, and it could be good, it could be bad, it could be happy, it could be sad. When you're sharing, and the emotion will automatically show when you're authentic, and people will sense it and they'll feel it. So it's not hard to create the emotional connections. You just have to be you and share what you have. To this day, I've shared my message, I don't know, thousands and thousands of times. When I really get into it and I share the part with God and the different things and more about my father and all these things, I will usually crack up a little bit. And I mean, like in a tearful way, because it's just the emotion's still there. The feeling of that emotion is still there. All right. Practicing using vivid descriptions, expressive language. So depending on what you're talking about, I talked a little bit about farmland and the orchards and the fields and the cherries and all that type of thing. You kind of want people to be able to visualize what you're talking about when you're sharing your message. And honestly, if you are in a corporate gig and you're talking about real estate, or you're talking about electronics or whatever it is, and you're talking about a computer or a computer board or whatever it is, give the description so people can see it in their mind. People need to see what you're talking about, visualize it themselves, and they'll connect much better to it. And that's the storytelling part. Okay. So these are the real basics for mastering your storytelling. If you can get this down, then that's the start of a great talk. All right. What do we have next? Fundamentals of public speaking skills. Public speaking skills are essential to keep the audience engaged, right? It can go back to a little bit about what we were just talking about, but voice modulation, varying your pitch, tone, volume to maintain interest, right? I just did it with that sense. So it's just a matter of when you're talking about, like when I talk about something that's kind of emotionally painful, sometimes I'll talk a little bit lower, right? And then when I'm talking about something that's more exciting, I'll raise my voice, right? When I mentioned about asking my mother, Mom, where's my daddy? Right? My mom looked down at me. She said, don't worry about your dad. You're not going to see him anymore. So people can see and visualize and understand what you're talking about again, right? So using a pitch, varying your pitch. Body language, using gestures, facial expressions, and movements to emphasize your points. That's actually natural to me. You probably see while I'm standing here talking to you guys, I'm moving my hands a lot. I always use my hands. I ask a lot of questions, but people raise their hands and so on and so forth. So when you're talking, I look at people in the eye. I kind of bounce around. I look at people in the eye. When I scan the room, I usually look right above people's heads. And when you do that, it seems like people think that you're looking directly at them. So body language, what you're doing, moving around, looking at the audience, paying attention to them, and engaging with your audience. Controlling the speed of your pitch to ensure clarity and impact. Let me tell you something about that. You probably noticed this right now. I talk fast. I talk really fast. I love to share my story. I'm passionate about it. And when I get on stage, and the reason I'm talking fast here is because I want you guys to stay through to the end. And I know I'm going a little bit long, but when I'm on stage, I really pay attention and do my best to slow down, talk, and pause. It's important while you're sharing your story, when you know there's something that's going to be an impact, to pause for a second and let people soak it in. I'll give you an example. Even when I'm on webinars, on Zoom calls with, one-on-one with people, and I'll mention the title of my book, Heal the Boy and the Man Will Appear. I've learned that I've had to pause. Ooh, I don't know how to let this person in here. I've learned that I've had to pause when I mention the title of my book, because it's an impact, just the name, and people will always hey, I don't want to do that, darn it. Okay, sorry, you're late, so I can't let you in, it looks like. Now what did I do? I'm sorry, let me pause this real quick. I'm trying to. I shouldn't. I always tell people, if you come in late, now I'm having a challenge getting this off. Can you guys see that on my screen where it says remove this person? Gosh darn it. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this off to let this person out and then jump right back in. I apologize. Cancel, admit, close that, play again. There we are. All right, sorry about that. I'm gonna make sure the next people that jump in, they'll have to watch the replay. All right. So controlling the speed, I was just talking about. It's very important to do that. It's important to pause. When I say heal the boy and the man will appear, when I first wrote the title of that book, it was a huge impact for me. And then I realized that it was such an impact for others. It really catches people's attention, and that's great. So when I tell people, they go, "Oh my God." But sometimes I used to just talk right through it. Oh, one of my books is Heal the Boy and the Man Will Appear. And then I continue to talk, and I can see they wanted to say something. So a lot of times when I mention my book title, I'll stop and I'll let them respond. And if they don't respond in a couple of seconds, then I'll continue. But it's important to understand, like, when you're speaking and there's some type of an impact statement, that you have to stop and kind of look. And honestly, when you make that pause, it creates more of an impact, and people just breathe it in and go, wow. So speed of pitch, clarity. I am a fast talker. I got to pay attention to that when I'm on stage. Eye contact. I talked a little bit about that. Building the connection with eye contact, right? Looking at people. And it usually takes no more than 2 to 3 seconds of looking at somebody in their eye, and they'll really know that you're talking to them and that you're paying attention to what's happening. All right, next, those are the fundamentals of public speaking. Engagement techniques. I think I'm giving stuff away before I get to it. Engaging speakers know how to interact with their audience and keep them involved. Asking questions, engaging the audience by posing a question and encouraging participation. I ask a lot of questions throughout my talk to keep people's attention. Now, if you have a really good talk, passionate talk, something that's interesting, like stories, personal stories, most of the time you keep people engaged. And in our events, we do 7 and 20-minute talks. So that's just long enough to keep the attention. 7 minutes, you have their attention. 20 minutes, you have to engage with people, or the eyes will start to gloss over. So it's really important to understand keeping them engaged. And what you do is you just ask a simple question, and you don't even need to raise the answers. When I ask a question, I just go like this, right? So that people just look and they'll raise their hand if they agree, or they don't agree, or whatever it is. So asking questions is the easiest way to do it. Using humor. This is important to understand. Humor is wonderful. Okay. Appropriately timed humor can lighten the mood and make your presentation more enjoyable. Appropriately, to me, and I found this to be a great tool. If you're going to joke about something or someone, make it about yourself. Make it about yourself. Because if you make a joke about somebody else, or you're saying something about, they don't even have to know the people. A lot of times, sadly, we're in an offensive kind of society. People can get upset, right? I said a joke one time, and it wasn't even about a person. It was just a joke that had to do with football and something else. And somebody got offended. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. So we don't got to be too careful. Some people will just get upset no matter what happens. But if you're going to joke about yourself, because people will gladly laugh at you. I've learned that. So I do a lot of joking about myself while I'm on stage. Interactive elements, incorporating polls, Q&A questions, or live demonstrations. I don't always there's nothing wrong with presentations because, like we were saying, visualization of what you're talking about and what you're doing, people can see it, right? Like the pictures I showed you just right there of all the different places we're doing, and all the fun we're having, and then the pictures of while I was in prison and my prison card, and all that type of stuff. People need to understand that and see that because it makes it more of a reality. However, when people come and speak at our events, I do encourage them not to have a presentation because the key when they come and speak at our events is to get you a beautiful professional video reel of your talk. Most people don't have them. I get people who come to us from all levels, never spoke before, all the way to great speakers, but they don't have a speaker reel. I get a lot of John Maxwell people. I love John Maxwell, incredible man. Helped me coach him. I coached with him probably 20 plus years ago. Incredible guy. Great program. He doesn't put you on stage. TEDx, great stamp to have on your label. I've done a TEDx talk. TEDx speaker, take control of your talk and really regulate who and what you talk about. So people want to be a little bit more free, and that's why they come to us. Also, a lot of different speaker programs have speaking, great speaking programs, but they don't put you on stage. That's the difference with us, is we put people on stage. So yes, it's good to have presentations. When we're doing it, I ask people, I encourage them not to. If they want to, I allow them to. Relevance, tailoring your content to the interest and needs of your specific audience. Okay, that takes me really back to the beginning when I was just talking about the first slide. I have templates that have guidelines for TEDx. I have templates that have guidelines for personal stories. I have templates for the corporate, and I have four different templates for how to put specific talks together. Okay. I understand a lot of people who are going after corporate, they're going to talk about whatever topic that company wants. Yahoo, Google's, these types of companies, Facebook's, all these type of companies, they want you to talk about a certain thing. I did a talk, a lot of corporate talks. One of them that I did was for a big mastermind that EXP put on, and EXP is massive, right? So I did this one for EXP, and I got up there and I started to talk a little bit about what I was going to talk about, right? What I'm going to talk about. Then I talked about it. And then you tell them what you talked about in a corporate level. And I told him what I was going to talk about and who I was and what I do. But then I asked the question, like I mentioned earlier. I said, listen, in order for you to understand why I do what I do today and why I'm standing here in front of you today, I need to tell you a little bit about me and my life and my story. And then I asked, can I share my story with you? And everybody looked and said, yeah, like they wanted to hear the story. So in this corporate event, I asked permission and they got to share my story. Now, what I did differently with my story, and I teach this because you need to have your story from 7 minutes all the way up to 90 minutes, depending on who you're talking to and why you're talking to them. So what I've learned to do is take my 20-minute message and expand it into an hour presentation or a 90-minute presentation. But depending on my audience, like we're talking about here, knowing your audience and depending on them, chunk in little pieces that correlate to their business that they'll understand based on you're doing this corporate gig. So EXP is obviously real estate. So when I got to points of my own personal story that were wisdom points, like I had said earlier about making a decision, I said, how many people understand here how important a true decision is? And that a true decision means no looking back. So I'll give an example of a true decision, and that could be anything about not eating pie anymore or whatever it is. But what I said was every one of you made a decision to get your real estate license at some point, right? And everybody would say, yes. Every one of you decided to come to this mastermind to get better in your field in real estate, right? Right. So every time during my story, when I would give a wisdom point about me and what I'd learned, I'd turn it and talk about real estate. So sharing your story in a corporate world is definitely possible if you do it the right way. So yes, know your audience, know who you're talking to, chunk in that industry when you're talking in the corporate world. All right. Next, we have building your personal brand. I've done a lot of personal branding. You have to have a personal brand and a business brand. Okay. You have to have a personal brand and a business brand. Creating a strong personal brand is essential for getting noticed and booked for paid speaking gigs, right? Defining your talk. Well, let me go back to the whole personal branding thing. It's here somewhere, but I want to talk a little bit about it. When you go out and you meet somebody, okay, you're going to tell them who you are. And there's so many different coaching fields and industries. Some people are corporate. Some people, have, I don't know, what do you call a regular job? People are in all different areas in their life. But when you meet somebody and you kind of impacted them, nowadays it's really easy to just connect on phones. But when there's an impact, there's some kind of interest that you found in what you do. Most of the time, they're going to remember your name. Okay. And if they remember your name and they can Google you, then you want them to find you. If you Google Raul Lopez Jr., you'll see everything about me. So I make sure when I introduce myself, hey, I'm Raul Lopez Jr., right? I make it clear. I probably say it a few times throughout the conversation. And then I talk about Tag Talks. Tag Talks is very easy to remember also, right? But then people do get confused with TED and Tag, which I kind of did purposely. That's not a bad thing. But when I want them to find me, I make sure I have both my personal brand and my business brand. A lot of times, depending on what your business brand name is, when you send out an email, I've tested this, I've noticed this, I've learned this many years ago. If you send out an email from you, Raul Lopez Jr., versus your company, more people will open up the one that's personal. It's from a person. Who is this? I'm gonna open up this email and I'm gonna read it. It's from a company. It's probably some kind of a sale, some kind of pitch, and they'll just delete it. I get a ton of emails from all kinds of different companies, and most of the times I don't look at them. So what do? I have two completely systems. I have my personal, Raul Lopez Jr., and I have my business, and I send emails from both. I'm not sure which ones you guys got from. Some of you probably got Tag Talks, and some of you may have gotten my personal one, Raul Lopez Jr. If you did come through Raul Lopez Jr., then you will now get them from Tag Talks. So if you're starting to get them from Tag Talks, you can unsubscribe from Raul Lopez Jr. if you'd like. Otherwise, you're going to get double emails. All right. So building your brand, right? Specializing in a specific area of expertise where you can provide unique insight. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean to me? Majority of the people I work with are up and coming or already authors, speakers, and coaches. Okay. Everybody, I've learned this too. I think I mentioned this earlier, but most people, everybody that I know, that I work with, the reason they're passionate about whatever they're teaching is because that's the challenge that they've come through in their life. They've come through it. They've gained the wisdom and they have a heart and they can empathize for other people going through that same challenge now. So they go, you know what? I've gained this knowledge. I understand these things. I've learned these things. I want to go help other people not or come out of that darkness or not get into that same darkness that I was in. So that's all that means, specialize in specific expertise where you can provide unique insight, right? Who are you? Why are you? And why are you passionate about what you're teaching right now? If you haven't figured that out yet, then that's the first thing to do is understand what you're passionate about, right? So many of my clients, and the same thing happened to me. So many of my clients will say, Raul, you know, I think I should be a life coach because it's weird how people come up to me and strangers and we'll start to talk and they'll tell me their whole life and all of their problems. And I'll give them one little bit of advice that I didn't even think was valuable. And they'll go, oh my God, you changed my life. And I said, yeah, that's your calling. That's your calling. Your wisdom is not common knowledge, right? I always tell people this, you are the fruit of the vine. Your wisdom is the fruit of the vine, right? Apple tree, right? Grows fruit, grows a piece of apple, grows an apple, apple falls off, apple gets picked, somebody eats it for nutrients. Your wisdom is the fruit of the vine. You are the tree. That fruit is what you're passing on. You're the fruit of the vine. And here's the other thing about this whole industry, author, speaker, and coaching, okay? Why are people hiring you? Why are people paying you to get on stage, to read your books, to coach them one-on-one, to coach them in groups? The reason is because they're paying you for your past to improve their future. People will pay you for your past to improve your future. Everything I'm teaching right now, I've learned over the years, and it all started from my hard times as a kid. I told you guys the story. So people will pay you for your past. Remember this, to improve their future. So what you have is valuable. You are worthy of making millions of dollars, and you are worthy of changing people's lives. People need to hear your story. Your wisdom is not common knowledge. It's something the world needs, right? So that's something I'm very passionate about and why I inspire and teach people to get out there and share their story. Develop a professional website, blog, social media profiles to showcase your work. I hope everybody here has those things already. If you don't, we can help you with that too. Personal profile, all the social media. When I say all, honestly, I don't use all. I use the basics. I have LinkedIn, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have a TikTok that I don't do a whole lot on, right? A lot of clients, a lot of work that I do, a lot of people that I engage with is on either Instagram and or Facebook. Some people say Facebook is dead, but the majority of the business that I do is on Facebook. I've been told that LinkedIn is great too. I do a little bit on LinkedIn, not too much, but I guess where we focus on really is where we get results from. Social media, showcasing your work. Absolutely. Put your message out there. Get on a stage. What I do for a lot of our clients is they'll come up and they'll record their 20-minute talk. And then with AI now, it's so simple. I put their talk into this AI program and it chops it into a bunch of little 25, 30-second clips. And then they post those all over the place. And what they do is they watch a little 20-second clip and they go, wow, that was a great talk. I want to hear the rest of it. And then they click on their YouTube and they watch their YouTube channel. right? And then from there, you have links to who you are, what you do, what you offer, and the whole thing. So yes, social media is important. Websites, I'd have to say this. Websites are important because to be legitimate, I think we say legitimacy. Sometimes people look just to see if you have a website, but more people, I know people, let me say it this way. I know people who don't have a website who do very well in the coaching industry, right? A lot of times we'll just build landing pages. I can give you an example of one of my landing pages a little bit, but a lot of people just build landing pages. That's what they do. You have to have some form of website, social media blogs. I don't have a blog. I do, but I don't do anything with it. So it depends on who you are and what you do and what you want to do. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Marketing and monetizing strategies. To start getting paid, you need to market yourself effectively and understand how to monetize your speaking engagements. So that's a lot of what I've been talking about, over these last few minutes in the different sections that we're teaching and talking about here. So what does it include? A highlight video showcasing your speaking skills in previous engagements. I mentioned that a few times here. It's so important to have your talk. 7-minute talk is not bad. A 20-minute talk really shares who you are and you can connect with people emotionally on that one. The 7-minute talk does well because people do want more, right? And you always want people to want more from you. So that they'll contact you. But the speaker reel is so important. And that's why we started doing it for people, not just helping them with their talks, but getting their speaker reels. I've had people who have one speaker reel out there, and it's ours from Tag Talks. And they call me, they go, Raul, you were so right. Somebody found my video. And he said, that's the only one I have out there. And somebody found it and they called me, they booked me for a corporate gig. And I was like, man, that's awesome. I love to hear those testimonies because it's the truth. We need to have video reels, especially if you want to get paid to speak. If you're applying somewhere to speak, the first thing they're going to ask you for is, do you have a video of your speech? And a lot of people say, well, I have a Zoom calls and I have podcast interviews. All that stuff is wonderful, but speaking from stage is a whole nother thing. And people in the industry know it. People in the industry know it. I know it. I've learned it firsthand. First time I got on the stage, my mouth literally went dry and I stood there and I stared at everybody. And it took me a couple minutes to recuperate and start talking. So speaking on stage is much different than Zooms or on podcasts. All are wonderful. Do as many as you can, but speaking on stage is different. Let's see. Research standard rates in your industry and setting competitive but fair pricing. Okay, setting your fees. What I would say, if you're new, okay, if you're new and somebody invites you out to speak, I meet so many people and they're not making any money in the speaking world, but they tell me, I get paid to speak. I don't speak unless I get paid. And most of the time, right, when it's somebody that's newer, doesn't have a big audience, that hasn't been speaking like a Gary Vee, a Tony Robbins, somebody that's just, getting started, but they took a course somewhere and they told them, if you take this course, then everybody will pay you to speak. That's such miscommunication. It really bothers me sometimes because then they start to not trust other people, right? I try to tell people what you need. All these things are what we need to be successful in the speaking business. Let me see. Let me go back to the industry competitive. Okay, so pricing. I never speak for free. The reason I said that about people who say that is because when they say that, they mean I'm not getting on any stage unless somebody actually pays me money. Okay, but what I say is, when I say I never speak for free, it's a different concept. If somebody invites me to speak on their stage or to speak on a Zoom call or to teach or to train something for free, I'll absolutely do it. I do as much as I can. Why? Because it widens your audience. They're there to listen to what you have to say, right? They've marketed you. They put out there whatever content that you're going to speak about, and they're there. So at minimum, you get their contact information, or they contact you and they want to buy what you have. Right. So when I say I never speak for free, it's because when I get on these Zoom calls and I do these trainings, people will usually either buy from me that day or they'll come back and buy from me later. Okay. So it's okay to not get a paycheck from somebody to go speak at their event. If you get speaker reels, get whatever you can from it, take pictures, all that kind of stuff to build up your marketing content. Again, I'll mention maybe later, Google Raul Lopez Jr., Google Tag Talks. You'll see all that I do. You'll see all that we do for our speakers. But get out there. That's the key. Get out there, speak as much as you can if you're not getting paid now. And that's what it's going to take. People are going to need to find you. They're going to need to see your story. You're going to need to build a know, like, and trust with your speaker reels. And then at some point, when they say, hey, I want you to come, I saw your thing. You have your books, you have this, you have that. You have so much cool stuff. And I have this great event. Can you come and speak? And you go, yeah, I charge 5K or I charge 10K or I charge whatever you're going to decide to charge. And they're going to go, okay, I'll pay you. Right. So you got to get started. Right. Les Brown quote. You don't got to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great. Okay, you got to get started. There's nothing wrong getting out there and getting doing some free gigs. All right, speaker portfolio, including testimonials past engagements, and online and what? And outline your talks. Okay. That's I think we've talked a lot about that already, right? Testimonials are very important. We got a lot of video testimonials on one of our websites, like our landing pages for inviting people to come and speak at our events. Past engagements. I showed you guys all the different places that I speak, all the different events we do, all the places I've been, including the bad places and the good places and everything that places I've been. So have the information for people to see and visualize and know you are, who you are, and what you do. How do you do that? You speak as many places as you can. You get videos of your talks. You get all the content. You build it up. It takes time. All that stuff I showed you, it's taken me many, many years to build all that stuff up, right? I didn't just do it overnight. I was on fire and I was like, I'm going to get this stuff done and I'm going to make sure I got the marketing so I can monetize what I do. And I got out there and I started doing it. But that was the key. And it's funny because if I go back and look at my original talks, they're horrible, man. I mean, when I say horrible, the story's good, but just the way I talked, things I said, I don't know if I'm doing it now, but I do have, I tore my shoulder many years ago and I have this twitch. And a lot of times I do this. And I did a corporate talk and I was in a suit and everything. And I got up there and it was a great talk and everybody loved it and the whole thing. But I watched the playback. I swear I was doing this the whole time. I'm walking around the stage and I'm just doing this the whole time. And I didn't even realize that I was doing it. It was just crazy. I was like, oh my God, that ruined the whole thing. But if your story is impactful, you connect with the audience, none of that matters. They might have just said, oh, he's a weirdo and that's why he does it. Who knows why? But yeah, we got to be aware of all that kind of stuff. It's pretty fun. All right. Portfolio. Okay, pitching to an event organizers, crafting compelling proposals, and reaching out to conferences, companies, and organizations that might benefit your expertise. All right, how many people here, and I know some of you guys just have your pictures up, but I hope you're all using AI, okay? If you're not, I'm gonna give you a tip, I'm gonna give you a tool. AI is extremely smart. It's getting smarter and smarter every day. And I talk to it. Sometimes I talk to it, but I type to it. And the way that I engage with AI is I let it know, because if you have, I call it Chappy, a ChatGPT, I call it Chappy. If you have a Chappy account, you know that every time you're asking questions or doing any work in it, it saves it, right? So what I did from the very beginning is I introduced it to me. I told it all about me, who I was, what I do, my passions, my story. I told it so much about me, it remembers who I am. So I can go in there now and write an email and say, hey, tell people in short, about my life and where I've been and what I've done and who I am and what I do now. And it'll just write emails just like that because I've already told it who I am and what I do, right? Now, going back to what I was just talking about, crafting compelling proposals and reaching out to conferences, you can go into ChatGPT and you can say, I'm an author, speaker, and a coach. Here's what I teach. Here's what I'm passionate about. I'm going to ask you to write me a couple of emails. Are you ready? And it'll, yes, I'm ready. It'll read what you just said. It'll say, yes, I'm ready. Now it knows what you're going to ask it and it formulates it, right? I don't know how the brain, the AI, whatever it is, super smart. And then you go in and you go, hey, I am writing to this specific company about speaking at this type of an event. And I want to send them a compelling letter as applying or proposal to pay me to speak at their event. Boom. It'll write you the greatest letter, just like that, professional letter. That's probably, I don't want to say it's the same letter's been used over and over again, but it takes the information from other successful letters, right? You can even put those types of keywords in there. Write me a letter that is successful in getting paid speaking gigs. There's so much that you can do. If you're not using AI right now, get in there and practice, because you can take these little tips I'm giving and get it in there and you go, oh, that's not exactly what I want. But know this, if it writes you an email and you look at it and you read it and you go, please write again, add this, take away this, make it more exciting, make it heartfelt. You can tell it whatever you want to do and it'll rewrite it for you. Boom. But you could do it over and over and over again until it's the exact letter that you want. Okay. And you can do that with anything, right? But as far as writing these proposals, and when you're talking to people about your speaking experience or even your coaching stuff, AI nowadays is helping a ton because it really articulates what you're trying to say. A lot of times I'll write my own letters, right? I'll write my own stuff and I'll just make sure, write it out. And then I'll love all the content and everything that it says, but I'll put a copy of it into Chappy and I'll say, check this for grammar and readability. And it'll say everything that I said, but it'll just sound so much better than the way I wrote it. So make sure you're using AI. It's very important in your marketing, in your monetization strategies, okay? You could use it for your websites. You could use it for your social media posts. You could use it for your emails. You could use it for anything and everything you're doing. It'll even put together coaching programs for you. Tell it who you are, what you do. Please put my coaching program together based on this. Boom, it'll write it out. A lot of times we edit a little bit here and there, but getting started writing things, content is the most important part, and Chappy makes it easy. All right? What else do I got here? All right. So I told you guys I was going to make you an irresistible offer. Don't hang up just because I'm going to talk about this. All right. I'm going to show you guys this cool thing that I put together because I tried to, what I realized is that some of our programs are a little bit, I have a $3,500 program. People come out and speak and they share their message. They get video talks, they get booths at our events, all this type of stuff. It's a very good price, $3,500, right? And this is not what I'm going to offer you here, but it's a very good price for all that you get. Come and speak at these 2-day events, professional pictures, videos, have a booth at the event, 2 days of talks and training, and a bunch of cool stuff that we do there. 3,500, and then I have a $7,000 offer where I work with people one-on-one and in coaching, and then we have a $30,000 offer that just includes this massive, you know, everything you could imagine that you need is done with you, and you're fully automated text and emails and landing pages, and just everything is automated for you. So it's a great program that we offer too. But a lot of people aren't ready for that, and they want to study, they want to learn, they want to grow, they want to hang out with me in our group coaching programs, they want a couple of one-on-ones with me, and then they want the templates and all this kind of stuff that I've been talking about. Everything I've been teaching, I put together in an online program. So let me tell you about what I did here, okay? All right, here's what I have. It's a 1-year group coaching program. Okay. Our 1-year group coaching program, it's a bi-weekly group coaching sessions, 24 sessions. It's 25K. It's usually 25K, right? When spending that much time with people, we bring in, you'll see it as it goes down here, but we bring in experts who teach and train in this coaching program. We got a lot of guest speakers all the time. And it's just an incredible year of training and coaching. Okay. It focuses on life enhancement, scaling your business, improving operations, and enhancing communication and speaking skills. When I say life enhancement, I wrote it that way because I really wanted to make it clear. Here's something I've learned over the years too, you know, talking about my books and Heal the Boy and the Man Will Appear and all of that. When a lot of people, when we talk about trauma, it connects with a lot of people, and they go, yeah, man, you know, I know somebody who has had trauma. Or people go, even though they have trauma, they go, no, I don't have trauma. And they don't want to even hear about it. It kind of shuts their lights off. So life enhancing, really, it's just life coaching, right? Part of our program is life and business. And I've just started getting back to the life and business stuff. I was doing just life coaching for many, many years, and I did just business coaching for a while. And I'm realizing that people really need both. I don't care where you're at, what you're doing, if you have $1 or $100 million. We always need to express what we're doing, expressing our emotions, and really getting some life advice sometimes. So we do a lot of life coaching, and then we do a lot of business scaling, and we just combine them, right? I tell people all the time, you could have the 3 tips. If I had 3 tips for you particularly that would completely change your life right now, you do these things, man, you have a happy marriage, you have a happy boyfriend, girlfriend, you have a best job in the world, you have $1 million. If I had 3 tips for you and I said, here you go, most people would not take those 3 tips and utilize them. Why? Because they have some life issues. They have some challenges. Sometimes they don't even know what they had. When I realized I had a childhood trauma through this miraculous experience, I hope you'll watch the video. I talk about it in there, the YouTube video. But when I had this miraculous experience, I didn't even know that I had a childhood trauma. I didn't know what happened to me was a childhood trauma. I didn't know that experience of being torn from my father and then my father leaving and not coming around affected me so much. I didn't know that. God showed me that, me at 7 years old, and showed me what happened, and then why I've been just lost and living in this fog. So many people don't know they're having challenges. So life enhancement means we get in deep. We get in deep. One of our coaches is actually my girlfriend, Angelina. She does a lot of consciousness stuff. So we go from businesses scaling to understanding who you are, why you do what you do, why you don't do the things you want to do, why you feel and act. So it's a really an integrated, wonderful program for everybody. Dedicated breakout sessions tailored to your specific niche, challenges, and solutions. So in these calls, we also will, you know, because I do this for 10 people. I usually have about 10 at a time. I don't do too many more because I really stopped doing a lot of the one-on-one stuff, but it's easier because I really want to help everybody. So we do for about 10 people. But so we have the time and the space that when we're on these Zoom trainings, we pick people out every week. We try to get to everybody, but we'll give everybody 10, 15 minutes and we'll say, what is your challenge this week in your business? Or if you want to talk about life, whatever it is, what do you need help with? And sometimes people will be like, well, I'm a coach already and I have this client and here's what they've asked me and I've never had to deal with that before. And it could be technical, it could be life, it could be whatever it is. And so we'll work with you individually during these calls also. It's not just you're sitting there listening and you're not being able to ask questions and get feedback and grow. Right? Community forum, ongoing support, networking, accountability through a private Facebook group, right? So right now I have my keynote speakers group that everybody is welcome into anytime, but we're also putting together outside of that a private group for just paid clients who are part of this membership right here. And so that everybody can communicate together, right? Without other thousands of people in there, everybody can communicate. Oh, did last week I missed the call? It'll be posted in there. Also, if you missed the call, one of our calls, it'll all be posted. You'll never miss a call. And you'll be able to build in that community. All right. Two one-on-one coaching calls with me. Okay. I usually charge about $1,500 per call, based on the different things that I offer. So that's 3K value there. We do a kickoff call, set objectives, outlines, and detailed success roadmap specifically for you. Everybody's different. They're on a different level and they're trying to start from wherever they're at. So we make sure that we're going to address who you are, what you are. We give you a plan. And then during the year of coaching, one-on-one, I mean, through the group coaching, then we make sure that we're able to target and help you get to where you want to go. Okay. The second call it's a review call, right? Measure success, refine your goals, and plan for the future. Originally, I was going to do like call when you start and call when you finish, but there really is no finish if you don't want to, right? I mean, the basis of it is a year. We'd like for you to stick around for a year so we can get you stuff together. But I'll show you what the program is in just a second, and you don't have to stick around for the whole year. But we'll do whenever you want that second call and kind of measure and see where you're at. We'll give that to you. I say this not in writing because some people take advantage of it, but I always give people more than 2 calls. I don't just leave anybody, oh, 2 calls, I'll never talk to you again, bye. I don't do that. I don't do that. People are welcome to set up a call with me. I just ask people not to take advantage of it, right? And give me some grace. If you text me, I usually say text me and I'll let you know when we can get on a call. Sometimes I don't answer for a couple of hours. I do my best to answer in an hour. And when I have time outside of the program, I will definitely get on calls with you. Okay. And I do a lot of individual training outside of this stuff too. So you're always welcome to jump on. All right. So you get the one-on-one coaching, then more value add here. Online masterclass. I have an online class. Okay. It has all the stuff I'm about to talk about. Okay. So we do online masterclasses, like I said, where we do invite special guests for only the people in our group. And it could be from life to business to consciousness to spirituality. It could be a lot of different subjects from people who are experts. And my goal is for you guys to become experts, and let's start as we get new people into the program, for you to be the ones who are sharing your information, sharing your expertise, and that you can pick up clients. That's the other thing. In this community, we don't mind you making offers. We don't want you just pitching in there every day, but you're able to talk about who you are and what you do. And if you get some clients, outstanding. I want you to get clients through our community. Okay. So we have these masterclasses that we put on. Topics include digital marketing, sales, conversion, branding, building, and so much more. There's a ton more. Ooh, my thing is blocking this right here. So also includes a Tag Talks online speaking course. That's what I was just talking about. How to speak. What does that say under there? It's blocked from my thing. Do you guys, is it blocked at the bottom for you guys? Or you can see the whole thing? I can't even see the sentence, my friend, so I'm glad you can see it. So read that last sentence. How to speak up. I'm sure it has something to do with stages or how to speak at Tag Talks. But what does this course include? I think it's about 15 videos, and how to do a TED Talk, how to do storytelling. A lot of what I've been teaching, it's in-depth videos, me interviewing other people and teaching and talking myself on how to do all of that stuff. So you can look at it over and over and over again. It's an online course. Within that online course, most of the books that I just showed you as we were coming through, you get the professional eHub e-copies of. So you get the speaker's blueprint, how to get lucrative speaking gigs. And honestly, this book, I'm actually thinking about just turning it into like a workbook, a manual, because that's really what it is. It's in the format of a book, but this is step by step, how to get speaking gigs, how to put your talks together. It has everything in it. So I'm actually probably going to make it a little bit bigger, like a 12 by 10 or whatever, 8 by 10 or something, and make it into a workbook. But you'll get a copy of the speaker's blueprint. You get a copy of my second edition, because this is life and business. So you get a copy of my second edition, Heal the Boy and the Man Will Appear, Transforming Childhood Trauma with God and Psychology. You get the Success Leaves Clues with Tony Robbins. You get the Success Leaves Clues with Gary Vee. And then you also get, just below that, you get the speaker templates. Okay. So you get 4 speaker templates. Your signature talk, right? Signature talk is your base talk, right? Your base 20-minute, 1-hour talk, however you want to start it out. And then you get how to write a TEDx talk. Okay, a lot of people do want TEDx, and I don't mind. They're my direct competitor. We're in conversations. I think someday I'm hoping my exit strategy, I don't know if you have a business, but my exit strategy in this company is to collaborate or for TEDx to TED, not TEDx, but TED to buy us out and still be part of the company. But they love what I do, right? They watch what I do because they don't want me to be too close to them. And I'm the only thing that's similar to me and Ted is the 3 red letters. That's really it. Because through attorneys, we figured that out. Like I don't do what you guys do. We have 3 red letters and you can't copyright 3 red letters. I'm sorry. So, but we have been in contact. I don't mind teaching their stuff because I know so many people want it, but there are specific guidelines for how to write a TED Talk. You have to be word for word. There's so many guidelines. They're very difficult. So I have a template too with all the guidelines and then how to put the TEDx talk together, right? It's part of this program. A lot of people pay a lot of money for somebody to show them how to do that. I'm giving it to you as part of this program, right? And then I also have pitch from stage, right? You need to learn to sell from stage. You need to be able to put a webinar together like this. You need to be able to have a whole thing that when you're at an event, if you're selling something, to be able to put all that stuff together. So I have a template in there on how to sell from stage. And then I have my tag talks, how to share your personal story. Funny enough, these are all speaking templates and they're all completely different. Okay. What we do, how we do it, it's all completely different. All right. So, oh, I didn't put the video on here, darn it. Next coming up is the bonuses that we have here. All right. We do these elite VIP dinners with David Meltzer. David Meltzer, and let me get a drink of water real fast. I'm sorry. We do these elite VIP dinners here in Orange County. I'm all over the United States. He does them, but I do them here with him. And they're part of our programs. Usually when I do one of my live in-person events, he will, we'll have a dinner with him either after or right before the event as part of the package that people come when they come to the event. He always, David Meltzer, if you don't know who he is, you can Google him also. But the old movie, Jerry Maguire, it's based on him. He was a sports agent for a really long time, screwed up, did a lot of crazy stuff. But he has offices at like SoFi Stadium. I showed you the pictures of me and him earlier. We were at SoFi Stadium doing podcast. He does all kinds of really great stuff. But because of his career, he knows a lot of celebrities. So we put on these VIP dinners. They're $1,500. These dinners are $1,500 to attend because he has all these celebrities and panels, and they're full 4-course meals and just incredible. All the, I don't know if you drink, they have all the drinks you want. Some people don't drink. But you know, drinks nowadays, it's like $22 for one drink. So if you get all the drinks you want and you're a drinker, it's a good place. But anyhow, it's a full 4-course dinner. So you get 50% off of that as being part of our program. You get 2 tickets to any of the live events that we do. And we basically do the Tag Talks, live in-person events, and then we do one called CMC. It's called Catch Me If You Can. We have some fun and we do some live and some business there too. And then you get a trip to Cancun for 4 people, right? Covered trip. All you gotta do is get your flights and pay some taxes. I think anything you get like that is you gotta pay the tax on it. But all you gotta do is cover your flights, and it's a 4-course. I think it's 5 days, 4 nights, 5-day trip to Cancun. All of that stuff. It's $36,500 value. Okay, it's a ton of stuff. Am I going to charge you $36,000 for it? No, I'm not. This is the fun part. Okay, when you do webinars or if you're doing this from live on a stage, it's like a lot of this is like you see it all the time, but it's actually kind of fun, right? You're not going to pay $36,500. You're not going to pay it, but that's not all I have for you, right? It's all the fun stuff that you got. But anyways, it's not $36,500. It's not half of that. It's not half of that. It's not half of that. I want you to think in your mind, like how much can all of this be? All this value, right? All the speaker templates that are so important, all my books that I've written for you, for the public, the training course, the video course, the 1 year of group coaching, one-on-one calls with me, the community support. There's so much involved there. A trip to Cancun, geez, how much? Just a trip to Cancun should be a few grand, right? Here's what I got for you guys today. It's only $997 down, okay? And it's $97 per month, and you can cancel that anytime, okay? Here's why I have to do the $997 down. Because upon registering, you get all of that stuff. you get all of that stuff, and I cannot take it back. It's way more than a $997 value, but that's $997 down, $997, and then it's only $97 per month for as long as you'd love to be part of the coaching program. Okay, it's a membership. The coaching for a year. And honestly, it's not just a year. If you want to stay after a year and you love the $97 a month and you're getting all the value from it, you can just continue, and you can continue to be part of our community and part of our program. Hopefully by that time, you've got everything you need together and you're making money in our community, right? And that $97 is paying for itself, okay? So you can cancel anytime. Like I said, you can buy today, pay the $997, next month, cancel the $97 and still get all this cool stuff. You just wouldn't get the coaching. All right. You wouldn't get the coaching. That's not fair. You would get the one-on-one call. You get everything that's here except for the full year of coaching. Okay. So yeah, you can cancel that anytime. That barcode right there, you can scan it with your phone. You can take a picture of it. You can take a screenshot, whatever you want. And it'll take you right to the link to register for us with our membership. You'll get an email that gives you the next steps. It gives you all the contact information, all the groups. It gives you all that cool stuff. And then later today, after you register, I'll see that you registered, and I'll send you the online video group coach, not the group coaching, but the online course. And that'll include all the books and everything that we've just talked about. So it's an incredible offer. It really is. I've never offered anything this low, but I have all of these assets. I've built all of these assets over the years, just teaching and training and teaching and training. And a lot of it's sitting there, right? A lot of this is sitting there. I mean, my books are all available on Amazon. You can go buy them for 20 bucks each. I think some of them are $22. A lot of them are just, my assets are just sitting there. And sometimes I do a giveaway. Sometimes I do this, I do that. But I said, you know what? I'm going to put everything that I've done, everything that I know, everything that can help you in one spot, and give it away. Not give it away, for this incredible price, right? I'm basically giving it away. All the templates, all the things, that's all incredible stuff. So there's my offer for today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation from all the cool stuff, the lifestyles that you can create. I'd love for you to join us. I'd say welcome to the family for those of you who are registering today. But I want to go back. I mean, all this fun stuff, all of this really derived from a hard time. It derived from my story, okay? It derived from my story. I want to see you on stages. I want to see you traveling around, having a good time. I want to see you globally. See that virtual event right there? I'm going to do that. And as part of our community, there's a cost to be on that virtual stage right there, but you need to be ready for it. You need to have a product. You need to have a service. You need to be ready, because when we do that event, our goal is to have minimum 20,000 people on there. That's the minimum, because it's going to be a global event. Obviously, it's virtual, and all the assets, all the tools, you're going to be on that stage live in person. There's also 300 people live in the audience. It's a big circle. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a big circle, and you're literally in the middle, and you're surrounded virtually with people. But that stage, that's why I want to use it. It happens to open up like this, so it's more oval, and you can fit 300 people there live. So we're going to have 300 people there live. We're going to have up to 20,000 people, minimum 20,000 people is the goal, there virtually. And we're going to have 2 days, which is incredible talks and training. We'll probably have about probably about 6 to 8 speakers per day up there, just sharing who you are, what you do with the entire world. Now, imagine having pictures like that, content like that, in places like that. That's going to build your credibility, your growth. It's going to take you to the 10 next levels. All right. We do yacht cruises and stuff like that, like I was saying. So if you're part of our community, you're always welcome to come out. We usually do our stuff out of Newport Beach. It's a beautiful place to come and hang out. We do those yacht cruises probably 2 to 3 times a month. Sometimes we actually attach them to our live in-person events or our masterminds. Being part of our community, you get 50% off basically on everything that we're doing. We sell these things individually, right? $3,500, $5,000, $7,000. But being part of the community, you get everything for 50% off, because you've made an investment in us and yourself. And I take that personally, and I want to make sure that you get everything that we're promising you, and even more. Again, get your books. If you haven't written a book, let's take your story, take your message, and put it in a book, right? Author, speaker, coach. Author, speaker, coach. If you don't want to be a coach, I hear that all the time. People go, I just want to speak and I want to have a book, but I don't want to be a coach. And I say this to every single person. If you're speaking from stage, it should be in a book. If you have a book, you should be speaking from stage. And when you're in a book and you're speaking from stage, people are going to ask you to coach them. It just comes because they've seen you, they've heard you, you've built the know, like, and trust, you've built the emotional connection. They're going to go, I need you to help me. I need you to help my brother. I need you to help my sister. I need you. And so if you don't want to coach, you're missing a ton of opportunity. You're missing a ton of opportunity. I promise you that. But let's get you in books. And if you want to write a book yourself, like if you want to get one just you, not as part of an anthology, I can help you do that too. Speaks Blueprint you're going to get. Let's get you out on our stages, at our events. Let's get you in front of an audience. It's all possible, right? I don't know who you are or what you're doing now, but if you can travel and speak and get paid, whether you're selling a product, getting paid on the stages, having fun. Oh, some of these I'm in Cancun, some of these I'm in Newport Beach, some of these I'm in San Diego. I'm all over the place. And every one of these places I'm working, right? A couple hours out of the day, and the rest of the time I'm out fishing, or I'm out, enjoying people on the front of the boat or whatever it is. That's the goal, right? My company is Tag Talks, right? But it's under an umbrella. And the umbrella is UL Seminars. And what UL Seminars stands for is Ultimate Life. To me, if you can share your story in stage, on book, you can start coaching people to change their life and get paid for it, because people will pay you for your past to improve their future. That's the ultimate life. So my company is Ultimate Life Seminars, right? So all this fun stuff, you'll find yourself in so many different circles that you could never imagine. When I was in San Quentin prison, I could have never imagined these people being on my stages or me being on their stages. It wasn't even a thought. I started doing what I was called to do, helping kids. And this is what it's led into. This company was never planned, from TV shows to Tim Story's stages to my own stages, just building up all these things with celebrities, having these celebrities at my place, being at the Shark Tank. Man, that was such an incredible experience. It was just super fun. I got to go backstage and meet all these guys in their trailers and all kinds of fun stuff. Incredible people all the time. And I'm helping you. I'm helping you do the same thing. Get on my stage, hang out with this, go through this program. Go through this program. It's only $997. If you go through this program, it'll prepare you for the stage. And then when you get on the stage, you're ready to go. You should have your banners ready. You should have a program ready. You should have something that you can offer the crowd. Okay. Well, for $997, you should be able to make that back in one webinar, in one Zoom call with, even if you have 5 people on there, you can make that money back just like that. Right? And especially if you sell a $1,000 program. All right. Oh, my wonderful kids. Love these guys. I don't know why. I love them so much. My grandbaby's so incredible. I love them so much. That's where it started. All right. It started from a childhood trauma, but this is where I made the decision to change. The true decision, like I talked about. I made a decision and I committed to it. Too many people want to do things and they do not do them. I want to, but this, but that, but this, but that. Let me tell you something. When I got out of prison, I had so much junk in my head. You'll never get a job. You can't do this. You can't do that. You're a loser. All of these things. Between then and now, I've worked for 2 corporate 500 companies on corporate management teams. People, how did you do that with a felon? You had to have a felony to be in prison. How did you do that? It's possible. Okay. It's possible. You get out there and you do it. You do your best. You help people. You serve people. People see you, know you, like you, and trust you authentically, and they start to call you. I got recruited into those companies. I got recruited into them based on who I was and what I was doing. And at the time, I haven't been in the corporate world for 20 plus years, but back then I was working my butt off. I had a job, working my butt off, helping people, serving people, all this stuff that I'd learned in school and all this kind of stuff. And they were just like, wow, this guy's incredible. This guy's incredible. They didn't care about my background. They were like, you can help us. You can help us grow teams. Come and work for my company. I'll make you a manager and all this kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter who you are or where you've been. I'm a testament of that. I'm a testament of that. Fortune 500 companies on management teams with a background like this. You can do whatever you want. I'm gonna tell you one more thing. I'm gonna tell you more than one more thing, but one more thing. People say you need a college degree to get a good job. And that's true for the most part. But guess what? You don't need a college degree to own the company. Does that make sense? A lot of times you need a college degree to go work for a big company. You don't need a college degree to own the company. How's that? Right? But it's the truth. That's what it is. Get out there, get your speaking business going. This type of stuff, honestly, it helps you. It helps you grow because you have so much wisdom to share with the world. The hard times that you've had in your life is what people don't understand, need to understand that they can get to where you're at with the challenges even that you've been through. All right. So we went through mastering storytelling. We went through fundamentals of public speaking skills, engagement techniques, building your personal brand, marketing and monetizing strategies, all incredible stuff. We're going to go through all of this stuff in detail over the next year, just teaching and training, answering your questions, helping you put your talks together, everything that you need. You have the templates, you have everything that you need here. Incredible offer, $36,000. All of this cool stuff. Take a screenshot, take a picture, whatever you want. All this cool stuff. Not for any of those prices, but this. When you scan that barcode, it'll give you that list that you see on the right-hand side right there. It'll give you that exact list. When you scan it, you'll see everything that you're getting. Really easy to sign up, okay? That is what we have for today. For those of you that have joined our team or joined our team, I do thank you so much from my heart. I appreciate you. I'm glad you stayed here through the whole thing. Email me. When you purchase this product, you automatically get an email automated and you get the Cancun trip. Okay. You get the free Cancun trip. That's part of it. But because you guys stayed here through the end, even if you don't sign up, I want to give you the Cancun trip. Did I put it on here? No, I didn't. I should have put it on here. But email me. You should have my email. Just respond to any of the emails that I've sent to you and say, hey, Raul, I stayed till the end. Please send me the Cancun trip, and I'm going to send you how to register for your free Cancun trip just for being here today, hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys so much. It's been an incredible time. I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to take this off the screen. Please take a picture of it. Do something. I'd love for you to join me. And then I'm going to answer some questions after I stop the recording real quickly. Or maybe I should. Ooh, my computer's about to die. Actually, I'm going to keep the recording. who has questions? I'd love to answer any of your questions. Anybody?
Yeah, Raul, that was so beautiful. You have such a big heart,
Thank you.
and that's so evident in what you give and just the way that you present and the way that you want to share. So I just want to start by honoring you first for what you're doing.
I appreciate
So
you.
beautiful. And then I'm curious, like this program is so beautiful, and I'm curious about the other ways to work with you. You just briefly touched on them.
Are you talking about like life coaching? Are you talking about speaking at our events? What are you talking about?
No, like more of the speaking at the events and how that works out.
Great question. I'd love to share that with you too. Let me bring it up right here. Since you've asked. All right, can you see that landing page?
Yeah.
Your story sells. Okay, this is our next event. We do events quarterly. This is our next event. It's in Newport Beach, July 26th and 27th. They're incredible events. People come and they share their personal stories, and there's a lot of talks and training. It says 30 speakers on here, but there's not going to be 30 speakers at this event. I think we're going to have about 15.
Okay.
This is, remember, I won't play these just right now. You guys can, I'll put this link into the chat so you can take a look at this a little bit later. You can watch the testimonies and all that type of thing. But this is just, well, here, let me just do it briefly. This is the shortest one. The testimonies are a little bit long.
Okay.
It's a cool clip. You should have a clip like this too about your business.
Struggle is guaranteed, the success is not. Burn that into your psyche. The struggle is guaranteed, the success is not. So you better be doing things every day that make you feel some kind of way about yourself.
First, we have to accept it, right? We accept the challenges that we've been through, maybe the traumas that we've been through. We understand them, and we're transparent in them.
Mm.
The healing, that's the key in this transparency, acceptance, and growth. It was healing. I had understood the science, the biological, the psychological, but this was the healing part, the spiritual part that we all need. That's just you can see some of our events there, the different sponsors and banners that we put up. But this is the landing page that we sent out for potential speakers.
Okay.
You can either buy a ticket here just to attend, and I'll show you all the different levels, or you can come and speak. So here's the different, I mentioned a lot of different celebrities that we've had, the influencers that we bring out to our events. This is about the event, revolutionize your journey to success. Jim Rohn says, quotes, just this talks about what's happening at the event, all the teaching, all the training, everything that's there. Like I said, I will put this link in the chat before we hang up, but I want you to go down to see, like, this is how we market you, right? We market our speakers, we use the different celebrities that we have, but we also, if you come in as VIP speaker or a guest speaker, we create graphics like these for you. We put them on all of our social media, kind of like the pictures that I showed you earlier. That we put on social media, and then we put you on the landing page. So as we're marketing the events, people click on it, they get to see you, who you are, what you do. We sometimes have speaker auditions. This is the testimonials. I'd love for you guys to watch. This is a few minutes long, so I'm not going to play it right now. But when you get to the page, click on that, watch some of the testimonials. But here are the different options right here. So it's $97 just to attend, and you get to bring a friend with you. Okay, it's 2 days of training. Sometimes we do 1 day. So it's 2 days of training, 2 or 1 day of training. And then the early bird or the guest speaker is $14.97. I thought we were changing that. I thought we were raising that. But it's $14.97. You get a 7-minute talk, right? You get the training. All the things that you see here listed. You get professional video of your talk, you get professional pictures of yourself on stage, and you get to bring 2 guests with you. You can either sell them tickets if you want, make a couple $100 on it, or I always tell people, invite potential clients. You can bring potential clients, and we say 2, but if you need to bring 3 or whatever, bring them, right? Well, they got to bring their spouse. Okay, bring them. Potential clients seeing you on stage in this environment almost guarantees you a sale. All right. So 7-minute talk, professional video, professional pictures with that talk, 7 minutes. This one is the one authority builder, we call it, right? You get the course, all the things that we're talking about, that we just talked about, you get all of that with it too, in addition. So look at, in addition, it's not that much more, but you get 2 speaking gigs. You get a 20-minute and a 7-minute. So you get to come to any of 2 of the live in-person events that we do. It doesn't have to be the next one. But we book them up. So we ask people to register as soon as they can. You get 2 any live events. You get 1 20-minute talk, and you get a 7-minute talk, right? Both you get professional videos, both you get pictures, and both you get to have a booth at. If you just buy the guest speaker, you don't get a booth. But if you buy the VIP, you get the booth both times that you're at the event. We always ask people to bring your banners as many as you want. We like to dress up our events with your stuff. So you get 2 20-minute talks, you get the videos, the pictures, you get that entire course of everything, the smaller offer that I just showed you guys, the ebooks, you get everything that we just talked about. We market you on our landing pages. And the 20-minute talks, we do chop them down into like 20-minute and 30-minute segments, and we give those to you too. They look all cool and they have the words and all that kind of stuff that you see. And then you get to bring 3 guests. Again, friends, family, colleagues, potential clients is always what I advise. So you get everything in what we talked about earlier today, plus you get the 2 speaking gigs, professional videos, pictures, and all of that. So this is how you get on our stages with celebrities and different people. Who we have right now at the next event is David Meltzer, but he always invites a couple of people, so I haven't got them on the list yet. But as soon as we get the other celebrities on the list, we'll pop them up here. This is just tells you about the events and the times and all that kind of stuff that we do. You can go back and look at that. And then again, we market all of our speakers all the time. We want you to be seen and want you to be found. So this is the landing page. Again, I'll put it in the thing. Great times, great fun, great marketing, great speaking opportunities. Get your video reel, get all the courses, get everything we just talked about. And honestly, it's for not that much more, because if you do the full year program, it's $997 plus $97 a month. That's just about like $2,000. So for an additional $1,400, basically, you're getting this whole package, right? You're getting the whole package. So that's in answer to your question, who we are and what we do. Let me go out of here and I'll put this in the comments in case you want it. For you to share. Boom. There it is.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. And yeah. So any other questions? I appreciate you asking that. Any other questions? When people don't ask questions, I always go, man, I'm good. I must have said everything.
You
Well,
are
you have
very
so
good,
much
my
to
dear.
offer too. There's a lot to soak in, which is really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Raul,
Yes.
I have an appointment with you, evidently.
Oh, you do?
Next Thursday?
All right. You know what?
Something
Well,
about you had asked for somebody for interviews, so I answered you, and then you sent me a link to make an
Yeah.
appointment.
you know what? Talking about
I
that.
actually got one of those too.
Okay, so that's great. So let me end this. Stay here. I'm going to end this, not in the call, but in the recording, and I'll tell you guys exactly what we're doing right there. Okay. So
Okay, that would be nice.
thank you everyone for joining the call today. I hope you enjoyed the training. I hope you'll join us in our Tag Talks family. Come and hang out, have fun with us, get into the group coaching, come and speak at our events, share your story. That's the key. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you guys another time.